We tend to talk about design like it's this ultra objective rational process. Systems, grids, logic. But what if I was to tell you that your most powerful design tool isn't Figma or Sketch? It's you. Today, I want to unpack something that shifted how I see UX completely. Your personality isn't separate from your design work, it's embedded into it. A few years ago, one of my friends was looking to improve his dating life, and he went up to one of my female friends and said, "What do I need to do to improve my chances of attracting women?" And she was very blunt in that moment and actually said to him, "You need to work on your personality." You might be thinking, what does dating advice have to do with UX design? On the surface, nothing, but at the core, everything. Understanding who you are and owning it is just as important in design as it is in relationships. Because design is connected, and connection is always filtered through personality. Here's the part that most people overlook. Your personality doesn't switch off when you open your laptop. Your biases, your worldview, your emotional patterns, the way you make decisions, that's the invisible blueprint behind every design choice you make. It gets baked into the product whether you are aware of it or not. In UX, we obsess over understanding the user personas, behavior maps, empathy journeys, all important, but we forget one massive variable in that equation: ourselves. Your personality is quietly steering the ship the entire time. That's the blind spot. And this isn't abstract, it shows up in real ways. An introverted designer might naturally create interfaces that prioritize depth, quiet focus, minimal interruption. An extroverted designer might gravitate towards social features, community layers, and collaboration tools. Neither of these is wrong, but both are shaped by who's designing. The goal isn't to become some neutral, personality free designer machine. That's impossible and honestly undesirable. The goal is self awareness, because once you're self aware, three things can change. First, you stop projecting your own needs onto the users. You stop designing for yourself. Second, you build stronger teams. You intentionally look for people who balance you out. Third, your research gets sharper. You ask better questions because you understand that different personalities experience the same interface differently. So, I remember years ago when I was getting some advice, I got told to be less nice and Canadian and to be more bold and American. So, the point there isn't nationality, it's actually that the confidence is rooted in self awareness, which builds trust. When you're clear on who you are, your decisions, they're going to feel a lot more grounded, and users can feel that clarity. So, how do you actually apply this? It's simple, but it takes honesty within yourself. So, step one is to actually know yourself. You could take something like the Myers Briggs or Big Five, not to really box yourself in, but to kind of understand your patterns, how you process, how you decide. Step two, you could actively seek different perspectives. If you're quite detail obsessed, bring in a big picture thinker. If you're very intuitive, collaborate with someone who's a bit more analytical. Step 3 is to design flexibility into your interfaces. Some users want every spec, every tooltip, every layer of depth visible. Others just want a simple, clean overview and the option to dive deeper if they choose to. When you design with personality, diversity in mind, your product feels more intuitive to more people. So, I guess one question that a lot of people are asking is, with AI being more prominent, what's actually your edge? Because everybody's worried about automation. AI can generate layouts, it can process data, but what it can't do is have a lived experience. It doesn't have emotional memory and it doesn't have embodied empathy, which is what a lot of humans have. It's rooted in their personality, and your personality is your unfair advantage. So, if you're going to take anything away from this, let it be this: that designers aren't blank slates. They're not neutral. They're deeply personality aware, and they use that awareness to build bridges towards other people. Your personality isn't a flaw to minimize, it's not something to hide. It's your empathy engine, your lens, your creative bias, which, when you understand it properly, becomes your strength instead of a limitation. So, the real question is this: how well do you actually know yourself? And how are you going to leverage that awareness to build better, more human centered experiences?